Mississippi just produced 14 tornadoes in a single evening. The footage is striking. On the evening of Wednesday, May 6, 2026, 5 counties in southern and central Mississippi were struck, according to the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, by 14 separate tornado touchdowns. By Thursday morning, approximately 500 homes had been damaged across Lamar, Lincoln, Lawrence, Adams, and Franklin counties, and at least 17 people had been injured. A tornado emergency was issued for parts of Adams and Franklin counties just after 7 in the evening. Lamar County alone reported 275 homes plus 50 apartment units damaged. More than 200 homes were damaged in Lincoln County. This is the same state where, in March 2023, an EF4 tornado with peak winds of 195 miles per hour tore through the town of Rolling Fork and killed 21 people. 11 of the dead came from a single mobile home park, a lot that 3 years later still sits empty. The damage from Wednesday looks like Rolling Fork from the air. The casualty count does not. But here is the detail that tells the real story. The official story Thursday morning was the spectacle. The Associated Press ran photos of Jean's mobile home supply in Bogue Chitto, where families walked among debris that used to be their homes. CNN ran video of homes in Purvis with their roofs torn away. Governor Tate Reeves announced the Cajun Navy was deploying a 50-person shelter pod and a 30-kilowatt generator to Lincoln County. The American Red Cross opened a county shelter, and damage survey crews from the National Weather Service were dispatched. What is almost nowhere reported is that this is the second multi-tornado outbreak Mississippi has absorbed in less than a month, and that both events ended with 0 confirmed deaths. In a state where roughly 6 out of every 10 new single-family homes are manufactured housing, the structure type with the highest tornado fatality rate in the United States, 14 tornadoes touched down on Wednesday evening, May 6th, 2026, struck at least 3 identifiable trailer parks, and no one was killed. The question is what was different on May 6th, 2026, from what happened on March 24th, 2023, when a tornado of similar intensity in the same state struck a similar community and killed 17 people. This is how it happened. Just after 7 in the evening, the National Weather Service in Jackson issued a tornado emergency for parts of Adams and Franklin counties, giving residents approximately 15 to 30 minutes of formal warning. Within the hour, a separate supercell to the east produced what the National Weather Service described as a very large and dangerous tornado, moving from eastern Lincoln County into Lawrence County. Anunciata Schwebel was watching her phone in another town when her friend's face appeared on FaceTime. The friend was a tenant in Schwebel's cluster of cottages in Purvis. The friend climbed into the bathtub. The windows broke. At Coaltown Baptist Church in Purvis, Pastor Jimmy Breazeale and members of the congregation were sheltering inside the building when the building lost its roof. Pastor Breazeale recalled that they didn't realize it at the time, but the roof was gone. Just total devastation. By Thursday morning, 12 of the 17 injured were from one location, Wash Trailer Park, where every injured person was a resident. Nobody died. Here is what made it so much worse. In Mississippi, manufactured houses make up almost 60% of all new single-family homes, and mobile homes are the structure type with the highest tornado fatality rate in the country. Sustained winds of 100 miles per hour can destroy a typical mobile home completely, and EF1 winds between 86 and 110 miles per hour are enough to lift poorly anchored units off their tie downs. Wednesday's storms hit at least 3 identifiable mobile home parks. Wash Trailer Park lost most of its units. Jean's mobile home supply in Bogue Chitto was reduced to framing and scattered piles of insulation. The cottages in Purvis had their walls and roofs ripped away while tenants huddled in their bathtubs. Mississippi outbreaks of this scale often produce deaths. The Rolling Fork outbreak in 2023 produced 21. The April 27, 2011 super outbreak produced 32 deaths in Mississippi alone. The May 6th outbreak produced 0 deaths. The 2023 Rolling Fork tornado emergency was issued at 8:04 p.m. Central Daylight Time, as the tornado was already approaching the town. The lead time was only minutes. Wednesday's lead times were 30 to 90 minutes. Therefore, Wednesday's outcome was not luck. It was, in part, 15 to 30 minutes of warning that Rolling Fork did not have. It was, in part, people climbing into bathtubs, sheltering in church basements, and watching from inside cooler rooms instead of from inside their living rooms. It was, in part, the fact that, as Bogue Chitto resident Alisha Marbury noted Thursday morning, many of the people she knew at the trailer park had been away at work. It was, in part, all of those things at once. To understand what is happening underneath, look at the map. Mississippi sits in what meteorologists call Dixie Alley, the southeastern variant of the tornado threat zone. Dixie Alley produces fewer tornadoes per year than the classic Plains Tornado Alley. It produces more tornado deaths. The reasons are documented. Dixie Alley has more nighttime tornadoes, dense tree cover that hides tornadoes from line-of-sight confirmation, more mobile homes per capita than any other tornado-prone region in the country, and higher poverty rates that limit access to safe rooms. This is the kind of storm Mississippi gets multiple times a year. Here is what is not making most headlines. In Rolling Fork, a town in western Mississippi with just under 2,000 residents, an EF4 tornado tore through the center of town on the night of March 24, 2023. Almost a third of the residents lost their homes. The tornado touched down in Issaquena County at approximately 8 p.m. By 8:04 p.m., the National Weather Service had issued a tornado emergency, but the tornado was already on the outskirts of town. Approximately 300 homes were destroyed. The Rolling Fork water tower toppled when flying debris compromised its base, leaving a crater where it landed. At Chuck's Dairy Bar, owners Tracy and Tim Harden gathered 9 people inside the restaurant's walk-in cooler as the tornado approached. The cooler held. Everyone inside survived. Across town, Terri Harden, no relation to Tracy, owned a mobile home park behind Chuck's Dairy Bar. 11 of her tenants died. The lot, 3 years later, still sits empty. FEMA initially refused to approve the site for temporary housing while residents waited to rebuild. On March 23, 2025, almost 2 years to the day after the original tornado, another twister hit Sharkey County. Frank Eason, the Sharkey County Emergency Management Director, was at a commemoration event for the 2023 victims at the time. The tornado damaged exactly one home. It was Eason's. 2 years and 1 month later, 14 tornadoes touched down in the same state. They damaged 500 homes and injured 17 people. They killed no one, and it is still going. The Cajun Navy is in Lincoln County, the Red Cross has shelters open, and the National Weather Service damage survey crews are still walking the tornado tracks. The question is not whether the May 6 tornadoes were violent. They were. 500 homes do not get damaged on a calm night. The question is not whether the warnings worked. They did. People got into bathtubs, pastors got their congregations into church basements, and trailer park residents went to safe rooms or stayed at work. The question is whether Mississippi can keep doing this, surviving outbreak after outbreak with 0 or near 0 deaths, while the underlying setup remains unchanged. 60% of new single-family homes are still manufactured housing. The Dixie Alley meteorology has not moved. The Rolling Fork mobile home park lot is still empty after 3 years. Neither outcome will be the last word. The Rolling Fork water tower fell in 2023. 17 people did not get up. Wash Trailer Park fell on Wednesday and everyone walked out. The next outbreak has not been scheduled. If this story is worth telling, subscribe. We cover more of these every week.